I want to tell you something, Miss Butler. You can't go around willy-nilly making babies with people.
All right. All right. For Judging Judy. All right.
Hello and welcome to the Judging Judy podcast, the only podcast so far that turns the tables on America's favorite, least favorite TV judge. Before we start, I want to make something clear. I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's why I first pour out the bathwater into a separate container, and then I throw the baby out. As always, we'll hop into an episode from the extensive Judge Judy archives. And at the end of this episode, I'll provide my verdict of Judy. Innocent if she did her job, guilty if she did not. Now, today's Judy episode is from May 4th, 2017, and for all you Star Wars fans, live long and prosper. On the off chance that you were away searching for spice on Arrakis, I brought in my friend, Professor Wikipedia, to help us remember what happened on 5/4/17. The Republican-controlled United States House of Representatives votes in favor of the repeal of the 2010 Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act and the passage of the House's 2017 American Health Care Act by a narrow 217 to 213 vote. 20 Republicans and all Democrats opposed the bill, which then went to the Senate for its legislative action. While this specific effort to make healthcare less affordable and less accessible would fail, Republicans to this day continue to scheme to kill as many Americans as cruelly as possible. Scientists confirm that Denmark has its first wild pack of gray wolves for the first time in 200 years. And all across Denmark, shivers ran down the collective spines of little pigs, lonely grandmothers, red-hooded girls, and crying, lying boys. The song Slow Hands, a song about slow hands, was released by Niall Horan. The song is notable for having the phrase slow hands in its lyrics at least 7 times, which must be some kind of record. Great work, Professor Wikipedia. Like I always say, there's nothing wrong with the professor of scapegoat studies. Next up, I'm going to provide you 3 clues, and you have to guess the city, based on the weather it had on May 4th, 2017. Clue number 1, the temperature peaked at about 78 degrees. Clue number 2, the humidity was highest in the early morning at about 71%. And clue number 3, it was clear to scattered clouds throughout the day. That's right, Valparaiso, Chile. Excellent job. I hope I didn't make that too easy. Finally, let's look at the US box office for May 4th, 2017. Number 3 was The Circle, number 2 was How to Be a Latin Lover, and number 1 was Fate of the Furious. How to Be a Latin Lover, a movie I have never heard of, was directed by Ken Marino, most famous, to me at least, for his role as Victor in Wet Hot American Summer. How to Be a Latin Lover is about a man who has spent his whole life married to a rich old woman and must learn to make it on his own when she kicks him out. How to Be a Latin Lover managed to make back over 6 times its budget. The movie, however, was not a hit with critics. It has just a 40% rating on Rotten Tomatoes amongst professionals, though fans were a little more inclined towards the movie, as it has 61% amongst reviews from the public. One fan who did not like the movie, however, was Jess's Miguel G. He or she provided the following review back in 2023. This movie, in addition to being disgusting, written with pause. It's very boring. I couldn't watch it for even 10 minutes when I ended disgusting and bored. Now, Justice Miguel G gave it a half star, and I just want to be clear, the phrase was written with pause, P-A-W-S. Now, Ken Marino, I know you have my email address, judgingjudypod@gmail.com. Could you just email me and tell me if this movie was in fact written with pause, and if so, was it a dog, cat, a raccoon, or other? In the meantime, let's get to the preview for this week's episode from Judy.
You were contesting that he was the father.
It's the kind of contest that has no winner.
I'm on the birth certificate, ma'am.
Well, how about you get off it? You're getting it dirty. You've got mud all over your shoes, and you keep spitting on it, too.
A mom pushes away her child's father.
And there wasn't even a train about to hit him.
You're still being vindictive and not letting him see her.
Maybe it's just a very serious game of peekaboo.
I let him get her Monday through Thursdays, and then I was giving her to him for...
Geez Louise, if ever there were a case for subtitles or closed captions, right there it is. But guess who doesn't have them this episode? That is the real injustice. Enough of the preview, let's get to the case. Brittany Butler is suing her kid's dad, Brent Jubin. They're both exceptionally young, 20 and 22, which I only add as a qualifier to say that I feel sad for them, that they are such young parents and that they find themselves on Judge Judy. At the same time, I don't think I'd want to see two 94-year-old parents arguing over child custody, so maybe I'm the problem. Young, old, it's never enough for me. Maybe I just don't know how to be happy. Email in at judgingjudypod@gmail.com if you think I'm the problem. Brittany's claim is that she's owed for repairs made to Brent's car, as well as the value of stuff that was in the car when he took the car back from her.
It appears to me that you had a reasonable working relationship with regard to the child for a while.
Now, are you going to go ahead and have those TPS reports for us this afternoon?
I know what Judy's saying, but this is such a depressing way to put it. A working relationship? Yeah, I'm gonna need to circle back to you as to whether you should procure some yogurt puffs or not, thanks. Let's just table the topic of changing her diaper until I hear back from my leads, thanks. I'm hearing good things in the walking department, though brass tacks, brain dump, retrospective touch base, one-on-one, put a pin on it, voluntold, drill down deliverable. Thanks. The action item in question is 16 months old, though I'm going to need to check with my project manager to see if that's delayed, at risk, or right on schedule. Brittany and Brent have never lived together, and Brent was not there when the kid was born. Except for the kid's conception, this might be the first time he and Brittany have ever met. I hope they get to know each other. Who knows? Maybe they'll hit it off and this whole Judge Judy thing could be the start of something really special.
No, this just keeps getting better and better.
When did he become involved with her?
About 2 months after she was born.
It's all good. I think those early moments right at the beginning are the least important to kids' growth and development, and that you don't have to really worry about, building inexorable ties with them until they're like 30 or 360 months in baby years.
Maybe no one will notice.
Brittany decided that he ought to be involved after the kid got sick and needed to go to the hospital. I'm not entirely sure of the connection. I imagine it was about money, but I suppose that it also could have been that the kid being sick reminded Brittany of the frailty of mortality, especially in the young, and that she thought about the kid's one chance at avoiding limbo or purgatory might come by way of meeting her dad, however briefly, as he cried over her bedside in the emergency room.
We're all gonna die!
But look, I don't think that's how Catholic theology works. I think the kid would still go to limbo or purgatory or whatever, so let's just hope it was because of money.
Well, did you tell him that she was born?
Oh, yeah, he knew she was born.
Brittany provides a frustrating explanation for why he hadn't seen the kid previous to her hopefully completely imaginary brush with death.
Because he was too busy doing things and running around.
It's wild that he made time for both doing things and running around. Though I imagine with his plate so full, he barely had time for stuff, junk, or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
You can forgive him for not including being a father in the things he was doing, on account of the running around. Judy pauses to reconsider Brittany's usage of the phrase, let him see her, in regards to when Brittany finally involved Brent in the kid's life. That's all well and good, and we should revisit that phrase, but let us not forget doing things and running around. I'd like to explore those a little bit more too.
I demand an investigation.
Brittany concedes that, previous to the hospital, Brent had tried to see the kid, but that she prevented it because...
The things that he's done to me and the things he's put me through.
I hope Brittany knows it's okay, perhaps even preferable, for her to provide details. You don't get extra points for being vague. I can think of a bunch of different things that do seem to get you extra points with Judy. Race, gender, age, social class, education. But so far, I haven't gotten the sense that Judy likes or rewards vagueness.
Just please believe me that it was a very good reason.
We move on, for the time being, from questions of child rearing to questions about car rearing. According to Brittany's complaint, Brent let her use his car as she needed reliable transportation. Wardrobes, blue phone booths, and magic yellow school buses having proven in the past a little bit unreliable despite their otherwise impressive features.
That was very nice of him.
Yes, ma'am.
You might have thought that Brittany needed the car to get to her job, but she doesn't work. Oh, add employment status to the list of things that curry favor with Judy. Brittany's mom supports Brittany and the kid. Brittany doesn't receive any money from Brent. What money he has, I suppose, must go to pay for his extensive hobbies.
He's doing things and running around.
Brent, who does work, explains that they only just started a child support case in real court. Plus, he says he hasn't exactly been a deadbeat.
And I took care of her and my child all of 2016.
So somebody's lying. Or, okay, maybe he wasn't supporting them with money per se, but with applesauce. Maybe he was clothing and feeding Brittany and child in applesauce, while they also lived under an applesauce lid in an applesauce cup sized for 3.
The next likely choice.
Brent says that Brittany lived in his house while he was in the army before she moved back down to live with her mom. Even after she moved out, she was still in and out of the house, Brett says. Note that he said house. I'm not sure if that implicitly excludes a Mott's cup. Updates will be provided as they come.
So, were you living with her, or did she just live in your house?
She lived with me in my house for about 2 months.
2 months, but I thought you said all of 2016. That must have been the shortest year on record. Years are traditionally much longer than 2 months, at least 5 or 6 months long. I've heard of a 4.5 month long year, but never ever a 2 month year.
Really unprecedented times. Unprecedented times.
No, ma'am, I did not live with him. No, ma'am, I didn't live in his house.
Judy kind of surprisingly lets this topic go, and she wants to move back to the topic of the car. I laud her for this, since that's actually what the case is about, and I often harangue Judy for making side dishes the main course. But I would like to clarify that at this point, Brittany did or didn't live with Brent either in his house or with him in his house, and he did or did not support them by giving or not giving them money.
Makes perfect sense.
After driving Brent's car around for about 4 months, Brent told Brittany that he wanted her to come to a courthouse to sign paperwork so that he could get custody of their kid Mondays through Thursdays.
So he had filed a case for visitation or for custody?
He did before, but they dropped it.
It wasn't Brent who dropped the case, but Marion County courts. And these Marion County courts weren't just being mercurial. They didn't do it because they think Brent's a funny name, or because they think Brent kind of looks like Ryder Strong from Boy Meets World, or because he was
doing things and running around.
No, they had a more scientific reason to drop the case.
Because he has no DNA yet.
I've never seen a snake sigh, but I bet you've never seen a snake sigh either. I bring this all up to say that I'm pretty sure that Judy just sighed like a snake in reaction to what Brittany said. A wise, weary, and very disappointed snake. That's also a millionaire. And a TV judge. Let's just call her Judge Snaky.
Anacondas are a perfect killing machine.
Judy channels her roots in family courts to summarize the situation as she sees it.
I'm just trying to follow. You know, I'm an old family court judge, and I want to figure out who you are.
The paternity results, according to Brittany, still haven't come back. However, Brent already has a claim, even if it's not as ironclad as DNA.
I'm on the birth certificate, ma'am.
She put you on the birth certificate?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this leads me to believe that Brittany had some reason to believe Brent might be the dad. Either that, or she's just a real prankster. Brittany denies that she had ever agreed to share custody of the kid with Brent. I can only assume that this means that, in a moment or two, Brent will provide a sworn affidavit saying Brittany agreed to share custody.
It's the logical conclusion.
Huh. So he had the kid at some point. Then he threatened to not give the kid back unless she formally agreed to share custody. This is what he wanted her to come to the courthouse for, to put pen to paper on what they had already been doing. He wanted to formalize it. Otherwise, he wouldn't return the kid. Now, I don't know how courts work down in Florida and Georgia where these two lived, but it seems like holding your kid hostage until the mom comes to the courthouse is a foolish move. Because, you know, holding a kid hostage is illegal, and I don't think you want to involve the law, and the law lives at the courthouse. If I were holding a kid hostage, the last thing I'd want to do is invite the kid's mom to somewhere full of police. But of course, I'm not in the habit of kidnapping my own child, so what do I know?
You don't know nothing.
He wanted me to come sign Monday through Thursday for him.
Okay, and?
I wouldn't do it, so he told me I wasn't getting my child back. And then I was giving her to him for...
It's not up to you to give her.
Wait, isn't it? If not, who is it up to? What's going on? We learn in the process that Brittany has another kid, a 3-year-old, that keeps her busy. You'd think she'd welcome having Brent take their kid, if only to get a little bit of a break, but I am well beyond the point where I think I know what Brittany is thinking.
And that was the whole problem.
Judy claims that she's got the whole picture. Bravo, because I do not. I've got half the picture, at most, and it's actually more of a paint by numbers, but all the numbers have been erased, and I don't have any paint.
So then you went to the courthouse on December 23rd. You got an order for him to return the child to you because he had no legal right to the child.
It was at this point that Brent took the car back from Brittany, as he had only given it to her to make it easier for her to get around with his kid.
Not that you needed a car to get to work. Right. You needed a car to drive around to see your friends.
Slow down, Judy. I know you're just taking a swipe at Brittany, but we don't know that she has friends. Never mind friends who would put up with a lady with 2 kids under 5 years old. Judy loudly declares that it's Brent's car and that he let her use it.
Just like you let him see his daughter.
I suppose they should have gone to the Marion County Courthouse to get a more formal agreement on paper for shared custody of the car. But I don't know that Brittany could have gotten a DNA test in time to prove that she was the car's mom.
You're not my mom!
I just would like my stuff back.
Brittany doesn't just want her stuff back. Remember, she also wants to be paid for the repairs that she put into the car, just over $1,000 in total, saying that Brent said he would reimburse her. However, Judy seems to think that given that Brittany was using the car for her own purposes, it was her choice to put money into the repairs. She was essentially funding her own travel, not investing in the car, despite what she claims Brent told her. Brittany, who seems to be slowly keying into the fact that Judy doesn't like her and probably won't rule in her favor, says a friend, later identified by Brent as someone named Butch, gave her the money for the repairs. I'm sensing that Butch might be more than a friend. I don't know what the better couple name is. If that's the case, is it Butchany or Britch?
Neither!
You had a car seat in the car, and what else?
I had Miss Me jeans, Yeti cup, a bunch of stuff.
If your things matter to you and you want to be paid back for them, you've really got to do better than saying a bunch of stuff. Bunch of Stuff is an off-brand cereal that may or may not have been made with shrimp discards and is mysteriously gray flavored. It has, however, been fortified with 17 essential vitamins and minerals and has been proven to help accelerate wisdom tooth regrowth in 3 clinical studies.
What happened to the car seat?
Car seats are great and all, but let's not forget about the Yeti mug. They were 2017's version of 2024's Stanley Cups. And much like Stanley Cups, Yeti mugs were the leading investment in most Americans' investment portfolios in 2017. Judy makes Brent show her text proving he told Brittany when and where she could get her other possessions. While Bailiff Bird retrieves them for her, Judy asks Brent when the last time he saw his daughter was.
December 23rd.
Outrageous.
Okay, but when was the last time Brittany saw her Yeti mug? That is outrageous.
You said yourself you wanted to help people. This is your chance.
Let me just get into character a little bit so I can narrate the portion of the text messages that we can see on screen. Brent, you got until Saturday to get your stuff. Brent, by 4 a.m. Brittany, do not contact me anymore. I'm calling the cops again. You are done. Heart symbol, faith and sweat. Heart symbol. Brent, no, I'm not. 4 a.m. Saturday.
Did you take the police to his house?
I was trying to, but they said they wouldn't do it without a pickup order.
Of course.
Similar to DoorDash or Uber Eats or other modern day delivery slavery apps, you have to place the order before they'll do a pickup.
He's not responsible for your stuff. He's not responsible for your stuff.
Well, case closed. Except that we've got a willy-nilly on our hands.
I want to tell you something, Miss Butler. You can't go around willy-nilly making babies with people.
Well, she's got 2 kids that seem to prove that that's exactly what she can do, Judy. And what are you going to do to stop? Oh, okay, you weren't done. Okay, go on.
And then deciding, well, I made babies with these people, and discard them. They're a parent just like you are.
All true and all fair. It's all sound advice. But now you've got to tell Brent he can't just act like a Yeti mug is nothing either. Judy goes on to say that children usually wind up with a very positive sense of self when they have 2 parents that love them. I get that Judy is trying to impart wisdom earned from her time as a real family court judge. But this all feels a little bit reductive. And she was a court judge, not a court therapist. It's a good thing for kids to have parents that love them. The more parents, the better. The more love, the better. 50 parents, 100 parents, Valentine's Day every day. The kid still might end up hating himself and his big old commune of parents. Being a person is hard. Meaningless work that often defies simple daytime TV platitudes.
And what you're doing is being totally selfish.
You know, Judy's probably right. But I do wish we had heard what these terrible things Brent put Brittany through were. Judy never asked, and Brittany seems about as reluctant to provide relevant details as I am to parallel park. Maybe there is some underlying trauma, something that really makes Brittany believe Brent shouldn't spend time with the kid. Or she's just a selfish, slovenly, unemployed hussy. We'll never know. Judy goes on to say that Brent was nice enough to give her a mode of transportation, even though...
He didn't like you anymore?
Wait, what? What does this mean? I'm not saying that Brittany feeling scorned would justify keeping Brent from seeing his kid, but it would help explain it. Was this information just in the complaint, which we never got to see? Why didn't we get to hear about it?
Is that what this is about?
Judy says that Brent was trying to deal with a reasonable person in a reasonable way by divvying up custody of the kid, but that Brittany wasn't being reasonable.
But you don't get to set the rules.
Okay, I get it. This isn't just Settlers of Catan, where you can make up the rules as you go along, so long as the game takes forever and no one has any fun.
4 months later, and you're still being vindictive and not letting him see her.
A 4-month grudge. Big deal. I'm still mad about how the second grade spelling bee went. Chris Nelson, you know what I'm talking about.
Vengeance will be mine.
Yes, your case is dismissed. We're done.
In his parting words, Brent forgets that he hasn't seen his daughter in 4 months.
I'm happy about everything.
Meanwhile, Brittany teases, again, a much more compelling story.
You just put me through hell and back. I wish that everybody could see that.
Are you kidding me, Brittany? I wish everybody could see that. You had the power to let everybody see that, but for your self-imposed here and there vow of silence.
I'm the real victim. I wish they would see it, but they can't.
I'm just gonna assume that Brittany has also forgotten, about her child.
I do have a video of her crushing pills in my car.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the kids are victims here.
She committed sexual favors, and he took the money and gave it to her to put tires on the car.
Christ, we get it. Case number 2 has a remarkably low bar to clear for my favorite case of the episode. I'm hoping it's about an overdue library book. Maybe someone who took a penny from the take a penny, leave a penny without, in fact, leaving a penny.
Something lighter, perhaps?
Jalen Coates is suing Bradley McCullough and his wife Erin Cole for breaching their contract to paint her house.
All right, we got a classic Tom Sawyer fence painting situation, except we're talking about a house, not a fence. And our defendants are not a 12-year-old boy. And I assume we won't have any situations where people view their own funeral after their friends and families assume that they've died. Leave a comment or email in at judgingjudypod@gmail.com if you've ever witnessed your own funeral. Judy very quickly tells Erin to sit down, saying that she has nothing to do with the case. Jalen's contract for the house painting was with Bradley. His wife is only included in the case as the payment was made to an account of hers. Admittedly, now that it's one-on-one, it feels much more like a fair fight. But I can't help but think it would have been more interesting if Bradley and Erin had had to provide all of their answers, either simultaneously or in rounds.
Roll, roll, roll your boat, roll your boat.
But this isn't just a house painting job. In exchange for painting the house and mowing her lawn for 6 months, Jalen was both paying Bradley $800 and giving him a Craftsman lawn tractor plus 3 attachments for it. Now, I don't have a lawn or house or a Craftsman lawn tractor, but is this kind of thing typical? Can you just call a house painter and barter with him or her? I feel like if I needed my house painted, I would hire someone to paint my house. If I needed my lawn mown, I would hire a landscaper. And if I had a Craftsman lawn tractor and 3 attachments, I would wonder what went wrong with my life that led me to owning a Craftsman lawn tractor and 3 attachments.
Something terrible. In 1 or 2 payments, you were paid $800.
$788 to be exact.
It would please me to no end if Bradley were here to countersue for the outstanding $12. In fact, after coming back from a commercial break, we find out that Bradley is, in fact, countersuing for money owed for services rendered. Bradley, don't let me down. If you ask for anything more than $12, you will be letting me down, and I am not in the mood to be let down by a house painter from 8 years ago. Not again. Ugh, he let me down.
Of course he did.
The Chiron says that he's looking for slightly more than $12. $1,488 or so.
Close enough.
Yes.
As it turns out, the paint job was never finished, and Jalen never gave Bradley the lawn tractor, and Bradley never mowed her lawn. Once Bradley started painting the house, he told Jalen it was going to be more expensive than the $800 they had agreed upon, suggesting perhaps that Bradley was not just a local man with a paintbrush and a ladder, but the spawn of Satan and the devil himself incarnate. A contractor.
At the beginning of it, I was asking for more money, but at the final agreement that I tried to make with her was that I would do it for the same exact amount.
In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.
He's the devil. How much more money did you want?
I just wanted enough money to get the job done.
How much more money did you ask her for?
Enough to buy the paint.
Slimy and evasive, like the Dark Lord Beelzebub himself, Bradley eventually concedes that he doesn't even remember exactly how much he asked for. Eventually, Judy asks Jalen, Bradley asked for about $1,150. Having settled almost nothing, we get back to Jalen's case.
Your lawsuit, Ms. Coates, is you're asking now for $5,000, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Based on a couple of other recent cases, I'm beginning to think they put a $5,000 cap on these cases, and so the plaintiffs just ask for the maximum every time.
I like the sound of that.
It's a natural move, and I get it, but I can't help but wonder if starting out looking greedy doesn't sit well with the judge in the end. However, greed cannot be worse than the sniveling incompetence Bradley has on display.
How large a house is it? Is it a 3-bedroom house? Is it a 2-bedroom condo?
It's a fairly large house.
Eventually, Brad manages to spit out that it's 4 bedrooms, but only under great duress. Judy isn't sympathetic to the idea that the house was large, that there was a lot of work to be done.
Oh, great. You went there. That's your problem.
Yes.
I mean, it's not that you gave this off a blind. You went to the house and looked at the house. That was the arrangement that you made.
That was the best part of the deal.
It's almost like he lowballed it intentionally to get the work, took some of the money, and then inflated the price once he felt he had a position of leverage over Jalen. Now, of course, a person wouldn't do that. But a contractor? A contractor just might.
How many bedrooms did you finish painting?
I didn't get to any of the bedrooms.
Okay, 0 bedrooms.
Unless you count one of the bedrooms downstairs.
Okay.
I didn't paint any of the bedrooms, and unless you count the rooms with beds in them in which I put paint on the walls.
I don't know how to describe the house. There's so many rooms in there. It has a closet.
Oh, fancy, fancy.
He's confused and stammering, like I was the first time a sandwich artist asked me if I wanted my sub on honey oat or Italian urban cheese. Kind of dead on his feet, frozen with the smell of sliced olives and raspberry vinaigrette thick in the air.
Yes.
How many upstairs bedrooms are there?
I had 2 of them ready to be painted. I didn't paint any of them.
I think that Judy's found 4 different ways to ask this question, and Bradley's found 5 different ways to answer it. Eventually, after some more needlessly exhaustive interrogation, we learn that in addition to the one downstairs non-bedroom bedroom, the living room was also painted. That's it.
Well, it's not that you finished 3/4 of the work, Mr. McCullough.
Judy, come on. What about this conversation thus far convinces you that this guy can properly answer a question about fractions? Bradley asks to explain the size of the house, but Judy refuses, reminding him again that he went to the house and quoted her a price for the work to be done.
She's suing you for breaching that contract.
You know what, actually, it depends on which circle of hell contractors reside in as to whether or not the contract is really even valid anyway. Judy confirms that Jalen didn't turn over the craftsman before saying that she isn't entitled to the $5,000 she's asking for.
$5,000 is comprised of, the $5,000 is for me having to hire someone to complete the job and to go over his work, as well as the lost rent and the money that I'll have to pay to have the lawn mowed.
Judy tosses her hands up in the air. Now, if she had been holding clam chowder, it would be everywhere. She's not holding clam chowder, but just imagine how much clam chowder would be on the floor.
Look at this mess!
Judy says that Jalen also didn't fulfill the contract, as she never turned over the lawn tractor and attachments, even though Jalen says that those were due upon completion, which, again, Bradley never did.
Paid the $800.
He was partially paid.
Yes, because he painted 2 rooms.
He was partially paid.
Jalen tries to assert that it's a $3,000 lawnmower. Fine. But it's a $3,000 lawnmower that she didn't give him. So what has it got to do with anything? I think I'm on the same page as Judy when she says that Bradley breached the contract. He changed the price and didn't complete the job. He owes Jalen for the work he said he would do, but he doesn't owe her for something that she still has.
And he decided to walk away from the job.
However, Bradley says that she asked him to leave to stop painting, a point that Jalen says is untrue.
I had to stop asking for money at that point, and I just wanted to get the job done.
With that said, this was after 3 weeks of painting and only 2 rooms being finished. Given that Jalen had an enormous house with rooms upon rooms, rooms that seemed to appear out of nowhere right before your eyes, rooms with closets even, at the rate Bradley was going, it could have taken him years to finish the house, a lifetime even. And even then, if the last thing he did before he died was finish painting a room in the house, well then there's no way he could have also mowed the lawn for 6 months.
The house is mostly these big rooms that are in there.
Bradley's got a point. Houses are mostly rooms. They're kind of frustrating like that. I feel like when I go into a house, it's like, what's with all these rooms?
It's surprisingly roomy.
Jalen says that the folks who eventually painted the house had to repaint what Bradley'd done. I suppose the devil isn't in the details. In a most unsatisfying, anticlimactic ending, Judy dismisses Jalen's case, saying that Jalen got $800 worth of work, which is what she paid for. Huh?
What just happened?
In his parting words, Bradley offers up this helpful perspective on Jalen.
Her attitude sucks. It sucked from the very beginning.
Then why did you agree to paint her house? You could have said no. Well, let's get on with it. I promise that the end of this podcast won't be as much of a letdown as the end of that episode, which is a natural transition to the most important part of the show. It's time for me to judge Judy. Now, as always, I'm making this decision based on a number of entirely arbitrary, made-up criteria, but it all boils down to this. Did Judy deliver justice to the people in the courtroom, to the people watching in America's doctor's offices circa 2017, and to you, listeners of Judging Judy? If she did, then she's innocent. If not, she's guilty. Today, well, the theme for today is letdowns. I mean, it was kind of a reoccurring theme. It doesn't mean Judy's guilty. Not necessarily. I'll get to that. But remember, letdowns. Let's start with this second case. I feel like we were leading to something more substantive, something more compelling, something. Certainly not a dismissal of Jalen's case. I don't know if it was the right or wrong decision from a technical, from a legal perspective. But from an entertainment perspective, it was a dud. He was a contractor. He lied and cheated, and he took 3 weeks to paint 2 rooms. There has to be some kind of punishment for that. It should have been a slam dunk. And it felt like things were leading to Judy achieving said slam dunk, maybe even an alley-oop. Wouldn't you have liked to have seen Judy doing an alley-oop over some stupid, lazy contractor's head? I certainly would have liked to have seen that. Instead, we saw Judy bail out. We got nothing, no punishment, no alley-oop. It was like a tie in soccer. It leaves you feeling like all you did was watch 22 guys run around a field arguing about how big a house is for 90 minutes without getting a good payoff at the end. As for case number 1, a happy ending was never really in the cards. Not given the people and the situation at hand. It's a sad story for both of the young parents and a sadder story for their kids. Because of circumstances completely out of their control, those kids are going to spend their lives digging out a hole about as deep and wide as all their parents' problems put together. Nothing Judy did or said during 15 minutes of her dumb TV show can fix that. Judy probably made the right decision, and she mostly behaved herself, resisting what must have been a strong urge to tear into Brittany. So, all things considered, I thought case 1 went as well as it could have. Until the letdown. Until Brent's parting words. It was character assassination. I know why they kept what he said in. It was edgy and tawdry and made Brittany look like a bad mother, a terrible, low-class person that the world could laugh at. I also know that Brent and Brittany signed waivers or whatever, and that the producers of the show are safe from any legal ramifications. But they aren't safe from reprimand from me 8 years after the fact. The whole thing, the whole ending with what Brent said, it was unnecessary and cruel to include in the episode. The fact that it was included shows that the people behind the show, they view those who come on the show not as people, but as caricatures. And that's a letdown. I feel let down. And for that reason, today, Judge Judy is guilty. That's the sound that brings all the boys and all the girls to the yard, because that sound is better than yours. Because that sound means it's time for Hangman. Now, unlike the Hangman you played as a kid, when you probably should have actually been learning how to change your oil so they don't have to pay a guy to do it for you, this Hangman has stakes. This week, I'm putting turn signals, aka blinkers, up on the gallows. If I win, people will have to continue or start using their turn signals. If I lose, however, we will revert to a state that a great many of you think we already exist in. No blinkers, no turn signals, complete turning anarchy. As always, I'm using hangmanwords.com. They give me 6 incorrect guesses, 6 letters that can be wrong before I lose the game. For the second week in a row, I'm using their GRE words list. Last week, it beat me with the word ineffable. We'll see if I get ineffed again. And as a reminder, I'm aware this is bad for an audio podcast, and I don't care. Now let's see, our word is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 letters. I'm gonna start with an E. There is an E, it's the second letter. Let's try R. There are 2 R's, so it's blank ER, blank blank R, blank blank blank. Let's try H. There's no H, so my hangman has a head, and I have 5 more incorrect guesses. Try A. There is 1 A. So blank ER, blank blank R, blank A, blank. Let's try T. Let's see if there's a T at the end there. There's no T. So my hangman has a torso, And I have 4 more incorrect guesses. Let's try N. No N. So my my hangman has 1 leg, and I have 3 more incorrect guesses. Let's try P. Oh, wrong as well. So now I have only 2 more incorrect guesses. Let's go with L. There is an L. Blank ER, blank blank R, blank AL. Let's try C as in helicopter. There is a C. Blank ERC. Oh, is it actually mercurial, which I said earlier in the episode? It is. It is mercurial. So I know I keep mispronouncing that. It's okay. Mercurial. Mercurial. So M-U-I. I was correct. And that means turn signals survive another day. Blink on. Blinkers, blink on. With our last few moments, we have time for an out-of-context quote from Judge Judy. Nobody gave a rat's behind whether I looked terrific or felt terrific in family court. That's it. Like, subscribe, fornicate, and share, but whatever you do, please don't get too busy doing things and running around.